The United Nations says the world's oceans are facing unprecedented threats due to human activity, and fundamental changes to society are needed. That's the focus of the UN Ocean Conference taking place in Portugal. More than 6,000 participants from more than 100 countries are taking part. Of particular concern is the sustainable use of the world's marine resources. Ambassador Peter Thomson, UN Special Envoy for the Ocean, joins us live from Lisbon. Ambassador, today, the last day of the conference, what key or significant progress has been made?
Yes, thanks for that. You correctly identified the Sustainable Development Goal 14. This pin here that you see is something that we all agreed to. All 193 countries of the world agreed to this in 2015 as part of the Sustainable Development Goals. So this conference is to support the faithful implementation of that goal. And why do we need it, and what does it stand for? It stands for the conservation and the sustainable use of the ocean, underlining sustainable. So we have been tasked by the member states of the United Nations to come here to Lisbon to find science-based solutions to the ocean's many problems and to proceed hereafter in partnership to find the ways of financing and putting into place those solutions.
I'm wondering, we're starting from a very discouraging point, as overfishing is already a third of the fish stocks have been overexploited. Now, I'm wondering, has this problem reached a point of no return? Why is the progress so slow?
Well, first of all, it's definitely not at a point of no return, but overfishing and pollution and habitat loss are easy ones for us to understand and perhaps easier to correct. But we have to remember that the main nemesis of the ocean's health is the greenhouse gas emissions that we are emitting through burning of fossil fuels. That's what's causing the acidification, that's what's causing the deoxygenation, that's what's causing the warming, which of course leads to death of coral and rising sea levels. So remember that greenhouse gas emissions are the main enemy here. And why has it taken so long? Well, it seems to be human nature. You know, we're still on a highway towards 3 degrees. And that's not a highway that we want to take our grandchildren to. And so the 1.5 divergence, the transition that we're calling on humanity to take, and that's not just from this conference, that's the Secretary General of the United Nations saying there's a red alert for humanity, that this conference is lending weight to the transitions that can occur. Nutrition, greening of shipping, our health depends on a healthy ocean.
Mm-hmm. Now, another area where it seems like, things have been taking a little bit longer than expected is the update on the Convention on the Law of the Sea. Well, it seems like there's no mechanism that addresses the sustainability of marine life. So help us understand, why is it stalling? And is there still time to remedy this problem?
Look, I think the inertia that we've been suffering from is starting to come to an end because people realize how serious things are. So at the beginning of 2022 in Nairobi, you had agreement to start negotiating this international treaty to combat plastic pollution. Great start to the year. And then a few weeks ago at the WTO Ministerial Council, agreement to, after 20 years of negotiation, for us to have a ban on harmful fisheries subsidies. Very significant. Probably the most harmful thing we're doing in the ocean is giving $22 billion to the industrial fishing fleets to go out and overexploit the ocean. But then this conference itself, very positive stuff here. Science-based solutions that, as I say, we're going to need to move forward and fund. And then you have photographs of President Macron there. His announcement yesterday that France will lead the way with Costa Rica and making an offer to host the 2025 conference. So there's a real sense of progress, but you refer, I think, to the High Seas Treaty, which is under negotiation in New York in August, and perhaps to the CBD biodiversity post-2020 targets, which, is where we're seeking to get 30% of the planet protected by 2030. So I think there is this positive wave happening. Yes, it has taken us a long time to get there, but the nettle of consensus is being grasped this year by the member states of the United Nations.
Now, I want to touch on the impact of COVID-19. That also came into focus, particularly the increase in plastic waste that's been leaking into oceans. And you talk about all these high-tech solutions. Is that also going to be part of the solution for this particular problem?
Yes, I think that COVID obviously did many bad things, but it introduced a whole new class of marine pollution. I'm referring to PPEs. And that's why I say this Nairobi agreement in February to have this internationally binding treaty to control plastic pollution is so important. We're coming back now from the COVID situation that we've been in, but we have to come back in a bluer, greener way if we're going to give our grandchildren the future we want for them. And looking at those disgusting pictures of the plastic plague that we have put upon this planet, that has to stop fast. We have to bring in better source-to-sea management so that plastic doesn't get there in the first place. But more importantly, we've got to stop using plastic in the way we have. Single-use plastic has got to be on its way out. There are so many alternatives to plastic. We need to move in their direction. And instead of giving trillions of dollars to the oil industry to produce this plastic that is polluting our planet, let's give those trillions of dollars instead to the alternatives, the plant-based alternatives to plastic, so they can start up and get to scale.
All right, well, it all culminates in COP27 in November. Let's hope this conference has added to the urgency of the agenda of those talks. Ambassador Peter Thomson in Lisbon, thank you so much.